It is so good to see you. Hopefully you're having a good day, even though the world is where it's at right now. I'm in my office and I've been here from this morning, we don't have lights. Well, I don't have my light on because we're trying to conserve energy. We want to steward well the finances and things like that. Anyway, I'm in my office and I just wanted to encourage you, even in this time, to keep up your 4 gauges, your spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental gauge, because those areas are going to be challenged with all that's happening around us. And if you think about it, let me get some natural lighting in here. So if you think about it, our physical health is being attacked. And because our physical health is being attacked, our mental health is being attacked. We start to worry, we fear, we start thinking of scenarios and situations and what happens if I get sick, or what happens if my family, and what happens if the economy, what happens if I lose my job, what happens if things don't go according to how it should go, or what if things don't work out. Our brain starts to put together scenarios, and our thinking starts to diminish, or it can diminish. Or not just our thinking, but then what happens to us after our thinking starts to go bad and our physical bodies feel vulnerable? Well, then comes in you have your physical, your mental thinking, but then you have your emotional gauge. And that part is where many of us are having a hard time with now, because of what's happening or could happen to us physically, as well as what is happening in our mind. Our emotions are now taking a hold of us, and now we become fearful. We're paralyzed. We now have anger or even resentment toward people. We may even be in a season of grumbling and complaining. Our government should have done this, or our state officials should be doing this, our county officials should be doing this. My family members or my friends, my coworkers, my job, my boss, my employees, like all of our emotions are now taking a hold of us. And now we're not thinking straight and we're not using wisdom. We're just making decisions based upon what we feel. And then our spiritual gauge is now taking a hit because maybe we don't trust God anymore. Maybe our faith is being attacked. Maybe we're doubting God. And so when I talk about the 4 gauges, they all affect each other. They're all connected. And that gauge is like the dashboard to our car. That when we fill our gas tank, our gas gauge is filled. When we change our oil for our engine, our oil gauge is better. The gauges to our dashboard in our cars tell us how our car is running, how our car is under the hood, and what's happening, and the condition of our car under the hood, under the surface. Well, so too are these 4 gauges. These gauges tell us how we're doing in our life, how we're doing in our hearts, how we're doing in our minds, our spirit, how we're doing physically. And that's what this channel is about. It's helping us with those 4 areas. What I want to do is encourage you today to take a look at those 4 areas. In fact, I'm going to put a link underneath in the description. And I wasn't going to release this yet, but I think this is a good time to release it, because then we can gauge every day how we're doing. There's an app, and it's only for Apple phones right now. I apologize, we're not there yet for Android. But this app, it's just basic. We just put in how we're doing on our gauges, and then you can even put in the icon why you feel that way. And then you just keep a log every day how you're doing with your gauges. I also put another link that'll give you some directions on how to use this app. But what it does is it just monitors how we're doing with our gauges. And then you can, from day to day, see how you're doing. And if you go below a certain point in your gauges, then it's going to give you a yellow or red. And if you look throughout the days and you see consistently yellows and reds, then you may want to pay attention to that gauge. There's also a weight tracker. I don't know if you want to use that right now at this time, because a lot of us are going to be, what is that called? We're going to be emotional eaters. So, but we can still take a look at our weight tracking if you wanted to do that. But I just wanted to send this to you to encourage you to fight the good fight. Keep your spirits high. Encourage one another. Be there with your family. Continue to build your relationship with God and with others, and believe for the very best. We're going to look back on these times, and if we're able to rise up to the challenge, we're going to look back on these times and say, boy, how we grew from this season and how we got better, how we were able to come from one place to the next, how we were able to mature, how we were able to problem solve together. And coming out of this, we'll be better. But we have to look forward to the days ahead, because this might be our finest hour. And I truly believe that we can do this, but only if we do this together. Keep encouraging one another, stay motivated, never stop learning, and always stay creative.